Actually, as I mentioned in the bus, that Jerash was built originally by the Greek. During the 3rd century BC, Jordan was considered like a buffer zone between two Greek superpowers. After the death of Alexander the Great, two generals actually were controlling the kingdom or the empire of Alexander the Great in this region. The Ptolemies, they ruled Egypt, and the Seleucids, they ruled Syria and Turkey. Jordan was like a buffer zone between the two superpowers. So sometimes we see the Ptolemies controlling, sometimes we see the Seleucids controlling. At that time, the Greeks started to build some Greek, cities in this region. And at that time, they established the cities of Philadelphia, which is Amman, the city of Antioch here, Jerash, and many other cities. Now, when the Roman came, they came here and they found already a Greek cities already built. But the Roman wanted to show the glory of Rome at that time, and they decided to enlarge the cities. So the first thing they did, that's the city, let's say, the Greek city, which is north-south, and they used to have like east-west streets, like many, let's say, documani. So when the Roman came, the Roman decided to decrease the number of the east-west streets to have more space to build larger buildings, because the blocks we have here small. So what they did, they canceled, those documanus, and they decided to have maximum 2 documani in the city. So in this way they can have larger blocks, they can have larger, buildings. Plus, the first people who started to, let's say, use the cement, they found the cement, they knew how to use the cement, and they created what we call it the keystone. The keystone is the stone we have here. When they used to build the arch is like this. They used to build the stones like this, okay? But the one in the middle here, it took this design. This is the key for the whole arch. So this kind of key gives a kind of pressure on both sides to keep the whole arch standing. And in this way they can build higher buildings, and in this way they started to build theaters wherever they want, because the Greek, they used the natural slope of the mountains to build the theaters, but the Roman, they solved this problem by creating the keystone and creating the arches. They start to use the arches, and if you look here we can see how they built many arches, each one higher than the other. So from the back side, we will get like stairs where they built the spectator seats.
Oh, wow. Yeah, I see that.
You got it? Mm-hmm. Now, all those, shops along the way here used like shops for like for selling different kind of things, food. Like when you go to stadium nowadays, you will see a lot of restaurants and a lot of things, outside to offer services for those spectators. And the shops on the back side over there used as stables for the horses. Because the hippodrome, it's the place for the horse chariot racing, and it was like casino at that time. Yeah. They used to have their own teams, they used to gamble. So when the Christians started, or Christianity started to spread all over, and the Christians became, let's say, ruling during the 4th century, for us as Christians, we don't, gamble, and it's forbidden in Christianity. So they started to use all the area between the Hadrian Gate and between the south gate of Jerash, like almost 1 kilometer, used as necropolis. Necropolis means cemetery. So that's why they built a church here to be used for the burial and for the funeral ceremonies. They carved a lot of underground tombs here, and the arena inside the hippodrome used to bury the people also, like graveyard for, the dead people. in this place. Now let's go inside. And this, hippodrome is the smallest among all the hippodromes in the Roman Empire. This hippodrome, 250 meters long and 50 meters wide, and the capacity 15,000 spectators. So 15,000 people used to sit all over the hippodrome watching, the race. Unfortunately, most of the cities we did some restoration because we lost most of the original, stones. The stones Ray used to build, something else in the city of Jerash or in the modern city of Jerash. So the problem in Jordan that Jordan was inhabited continuously by different, civilizations and different people. So what the Greek built used by the Roman to build something else. What the Roman built used by the Christians to build something else. What's built by the Christians used by the Muslims to build something else. So that's why the same stone recycled and reused in different buildings. Now we cannot use new stones to do the restoration, otherwise we will lose the archaeological importance of the site. So that's why we call Jerash the, let's say, Pompeii of the East, of the city of 1,000 pillars, because we are keeping, the heritage of the Roman in this place. Now, if you look there, the highest, columns we see at the very end, that's the temple of Diana, or the temple of Artemis, the goddess and the protectress of Gerasa. And that temple, the local people here started to build that temple during the 2nd century, and because they, stopped all kind of buildings during the 3rd century due to the, problems with the Germanian tribes in the north part of the Roman Empire, and later on the eastern part of the Roman Empire, they converted to Christianity. They stopped all kind of projects, and instead of continuing, the temple, they start to build churches during the 4th century AD. And this is one of the reasons that the hippodrome standing, almost 800 meters, like half mile away of the city of Jerash, and they couldn't finish that project because all the budget used to be, paid for the army during the war with the Germanian, tribes in the north part of the Roman Empire. Now we will walk till the end of the hippodrome, and from there we will enter to enter the city of Gerasa. Used to be called, Damascus Gate. So if you go to Jerusalem, the North Gate used to be called Damascus Gate. Here, Damascus Gate. In Amman, Damascus Gate. But the east and the west and the southern gates always named after the city facing that gate. So because it's facing, Amman, they call it Philadelphia Gate. If you look to the design exactly same as the Hadrian Gate. But the Hadrian Gate was built later on as a larger copy of this gate because they had a dream to enlarge the city to include the hippodrome within the city walls. But if you look here, we can see that the gate was built first, then later on they added the walls. Because usually if they build the gate and the walls at the same time, the stones should be connected. But it seems they marked first the directions, the north gate and the south gate. Then after that, they start to build the walls around the city. Now from here, we will enter the city. If you get closer, this is the map of the city of Jerash completely. The city of Jerash was almost 4 square kilometers. It was completely walled. You can see the walls. Here, this is the north gate or Damascus Gate. This is here, the south gate or Philadelphia Gate. Now, usually we have the Cardo, which is, the north-south street. It's supposed to be always north-south. What's happened here? We call this city Roman city. That's right. But the Roman actually didn't build one single stone here. The Roman, they were the engineers, the supervisors, and who put the design, the plan of the city, but they used the local people as slaves actually to cut the stones, to build the buildings, everything. So those people, they are not really professional workers. So they did some mistakes. And one of the major mistakes in Jerash is the Cardo. The Cardo, the main street. This is the north gate here. Look at the north gate and look at the south gate. This is the south gate. So the Cardo is supposed to go this way, but the Cardo is going that way. You got it?
Yeah.
A little bit off.
Why? Because they didn't, pay attention for the direction. They realized the wrong, the mistake in the direction.
Sorry.
Almost 100 meters here, and this is not easy mistake for the Roman, because we are not talking about just pavement like what we have in Petra, but under the pavement we have the sewer system of the city. On both sides we have 250 columns here, 250 columns there. On the top of the columns we have lentil stone. On the top of the stone we have the aqueducts for the drinkable water. So we are talking about the whole infrastructure must be changed, and it's very difficult to be changed. So what the Roman did, the Roman, they were really supervisors and really genius engineers. So they came here, the Cardo is going that way, but the Cardo is supposed to go that way. So the minute they found the mistake, the Cardo started to be wider and wider and wider and got the oval shape, and they changed, the direction of the Cardo to face the south gate. That's why we have the oval plaza. Usually we don't have oval plaza. Usually we have just straight line from the north to the south. And what they did here, as not to say this is our problem, they decorated the oval plaza with Ionic capitals. And the Ionic, we know it's a Greek capital, it's a Greek order, and the rest of the column with Corinthian capitals, Roman design. So if somebody will say something, they will say this is, part of the Greek, city, so we left it as it is.
Instead of saying
So,
we made a mistake.
exactly. Thank you. City almost 3,000 spectators. We can see, two levels of the theater. We have the lower, entrances here to serve the lower part of the theater, and we have 4 gates actually to get to the theater from the back side, so you can go outside. If you stand in the central point here in the orchestra and you speak using your normal voice, no need to shout. Anybody sitting anywhere can hear you clearly.
That's so cool.
Can you hear me up there? Hello? Hello?
They're not listening to you.
They're like, you're not talking to me.
Yeah.
That guy was looking
Car,
around.
run up there real quick.
Yeah, he hears. You're in the red shirt. Can you hear? What time is it?
What time is it now?
Lady Red, can you hear us?
Hi.
So here, this is the orchestra. This is what the Roman did actually. They changed the design of the theater. Instead of having circular orchestra, they used just semicircle. They replaced the semicircle, they moved to a stage. So they added the stage. The stage was added for the first time just during the Roman, time. And they built a stage facade, or scheme we call it. It was 2 floors. The upper floor, unfortunately, completely destroyed. We have just the lower part. Behind this, facade, we have a lot of changing rooms for the actors and the actresses, where they can change their dress during, their comedy plays or any kind of plays or musical parties or whatever. The orchestra, the musicians, they used to sit here, and to break the waves, actually, they carved those, holes. I need 2 volunteers. I need one to go to speak inside one of those holes over there, and I need one to go to the other side over there. And no need to shout, just inside that hole, try to talk, to each other. Inside, yeah.
I can hear you, buddy.
Oh my gosh. I can hear it out here.
We can also hear.
I can hear it too. Were y'all yelling?
He was speaking softly.
You gotta do that. You gotta do it. Go back over there, Josh.
I was gonna go. Oh, go ahead. Can y'all hear me? Oh my gosh.
Anybody talking?
A B C D E F G. Golly. Yeah. I hear you. That's amazing. That is amazing.
So, 5 minutes. Take photos. If you like to climb up, you can take a photo. And those guys act 3,000 spectators. We can see, you know, 2 levels of the theater. We have the lower, you know, to serve the lower part of the theater. Gates actually to get to the theater from the back side, so you can go outside. If you stand in the central point, 3,000 spectators, we can see, you know, 2 levels of the theater. We have the lower, you know, to serve the lower part of the theater. Gates actually to get to the theater from the back side, so you can go outside. If you stand in the central point,